Good evening. Good afternoon. I'm Gena Curtis, and my name is spelled Genacurtis, and I'm the Lieutenant over Sex Crimes and Domestic Violence. So today I wanted to kind of bring you up to speed on where we are on our most recent sexual assault, which occurred on Monday, February the 25th at approximately 1:30 in the afternoon in the 11,000 block of Jollyville. What I really need is your assistance. I need your help in spreading the message that I'm asking and seeking all eyes and ears in the community, that if they heard anything or saw anything suspicious in the 11,000 block of Jollyville, to please call us. We need your help. We have an aggravated situation here, and we want to find out who did this. We don't want this to happen to anyone else. And here we are on the hills of South By, coming into our city to have a good time and enjoy our community. And we have an incident that raises concerns for me and for many. This is not something to be taken lightly. We have a survivor that will need a lot of time to heal and recover. And we would like to help that survivor do so by finding out who did this to her. The other thing that I would like to ask is that I know there have been lots of questions about other incidents that have occurred also in the month of February, namely on February 1st and February the 2nd. All of these are open investigations that we are working on a daily basis. We have had tips come in on the first two incidents. We are working various leads and avenues on the most recent incident, but there is nothing at this point that leads us to believe that it is the same suspect. Obviously, that could change during the course of our investigations, but right now, I can't say that it is or that it isn't. Additionally, I know there have been questions about old incidents in 2016, and I also believe that there are some composites that have been put back up on media sites. I would encourage you and ask you, let's not confuse our community right now with those composites, as those are old incidents and the MOs in those incidents are quite different than these that we're talking about today. I really need our community to be focused on, even if it's limited information that we're providing, to be focused on that limited information so that we don't plant the seed of something else. But lastly, if our residents see something that is disturbing to them and raises an eyebrow or makes the hair on the nape of their neck stand up, please call us. Please call 911 to report the suspicious activity. We're hearing things as we're conducting our investigations, and we wish that we had heard them much sooner. So I just implore all of our citizens, for your safety and the safety of everyone, if you see something suspicious, call it in. It can't hurt. You're not being an imposition to anyone, and it potentially could be very vital information. And really, that's all I have.
Was there anyone else inside the home?
I'm not going to talk about the victim's residence and who was home or not.
Lieutenant, do you guys have more specific description of the suspects than from all three incidents? Because I know we got very, very vague descriptions for all three.
Right, And you know, it's unfortunate, but when you talk about something that happens so quickly and when you're approached and grabbed from behind, just that stark reality that something is happening to you personally in your personal space, it's very difficult oftentimes to see who's behind you, right? And when you're fighting with someone, on top of that, all of your energy is focused on survival, right? And so that's what's happened to some of our survivors. So unfortunately, what we provide to you is really what we have. And therefore, during the course of the investigation, when we canvass looking for surveillance videos and or witnesses, it's extremely important to be able to gather that so that we perhaps can gather more intel about what occurred and or what the offender looks like, right? So I wish I could say to you and give you more so that you could go out and find that person, because that would be the best of all worlds and best for everyone. But unfortunately, I can't. What I can tell you is that, you know, all of our survivors in these 3 incidents here are rather petite survivors. They're not very tall. They're kind of a small or medium height. And in the course of that, you know, I think we've also put out that the suspect in number 1 or number 2 was 5'7" to 5'8", something like that. And that could be the actual range, 5'7" to 5'10" on number 3. But again, it's hard when you're fighting, when you're just taken off guard and you're so surprised. So again, if you and I all saw the same instant, we might see it differently. So it's very, very difficult. Medium complexion is what I can tell you, with some dark hair on the arm. So how many people does that describe? Quite a few. So anyway, what else?
When you said as you were getting tips, you're hearing some stuff that you wish you knew earlier, what kind of information? You don't have to obviously talk to us in detail, but what kind of information?
Suspicious people, right? In certain locations. So, you know, people oftentimes, though, they see things, they see a car perhaps that's suspicious and they think, oh, I don't want to bother the police, they're busy doing other things. We're busy taking care of you. That's important stuff to us. And those little things there potentially could be a clue or an answer to a bigger issue that we're working on. So I know that we all do that, right? We all minimize stuff in our lives and we don't want to burden someone else. It's not a burden. It's part of what we do.
Have you all put a rush on DNA for this case?
Yes, we have. And so we're hopeful that we'll have that back in midweek, we hope.
Lieutenant, I understand the Monday incident involved a home invasion. Is there any information you can give, like, residents as to what to look for? I mean, was it someone who knocked on the door and forced their way in, or did they break in through a window, or are there any details you can reveal about, you know, what people should maybe look for or be prepared for?
It's tough, right? Because it could happen to you and I, right? Somebody could knock at our door and we open the door, even by looking through the window or the peephole and thinking that it's okay. And sometimes it's not okay. It's a very difficult question, and I know that people want answers and guidance, but sometimes we're just victimized. And it's unfortunate because we can be the best at whatever we're doing to try to safeguard ourselves, and it's not enough. And they're in their homes, right? What more protection do you think you need? It's hard. I appreciate the question. I'm just not sure what to tell you.
Well, in this case, did the man knock on the door? Did he just break in? Is there any specifics about this case in particular, how he got it?
I'm not going to be able to answer that right now because I don't even know the answers, right? We're still working with a very traumatized survivor. And so I don't want to mislead you by telling you something and it be inaccurate. As you know, in one of the previous events, it was a knock at the door, right? Our survivor did answer the door. So we know that about that, and we're happy to provide that information, but at this time, with this incident, I can't tell you because we don't really know.
So are we looking for definitely 3 different people, 2 different people, and 5 different people? Do you have any idea?
Yeah. I will tell you right now that we don't have any reason to believe that it's one individual committing all three. And on the same hand, I'm going to tell you, I have nothing that tells me it's not, right? So we're going to have to wait until the DNA comes back. If that is helpful in any way. You know, oftentimes DNA does not provide us a concrete answer for a lot of different reasons. So we're going to have to wait and see what that investigative lead provides to us, if anything.
Was there DNA on the February 2nd attack?
I believe that we've had it on each. Some DNA samples have been submitted for testing on each.
Last question.
3 incidents in 1 month, is that the highest compared to last year in a month?
That's a trick question, isn't it? I don't know. I can't answer your question. We can definitely look to see what the stats were in a month. Now, are you referring to stranger rapes? Are you referring to rapes? Are you referring to, so what, I need to know what the question is.
Sexual assaults in general.
Okay. I'm gonna take a gander and say no, it's not the highest, but let us look and get that information for you, okay?
Thank you.